Woo. All right, so here we go. The moment of truth. Yeah. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't think you're ready for the smoke I'm about to bring.
Yeah, I'm the only one who picked every single game. So, yeah.
I didn't
you
need
didn't
to.
do crap.
I didn't need to.
I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I didn't need to. I was so busy yesterday listening to rock and roll and just throwing the ball with my son at the park.
Hey, by the way, that site that you use, that was modeled off my predictions and picks, just so you know.
Yeah.
Like, they did that years ago. They heard Knox Locks. They were like, you know what, I got to be a part of that. How come
so they're going to have the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl again this year? What? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Hey, listen, sometimes I make a bad pick, but at least I own it. And if the pick goes sideways, that's not on me. That's on the people that didn't perform. So,
Or the Chargers winning the AFC West?
Yeah, listen, we don't need to get
I got them winning the AFC West.
Well, Jonas had them winning last year.
All right, so
I got them this year.
Lee, how do we want to do this? You are the quarterback of our picks. So how should we we spin this?
I think we got to just let the dog off the leash and let Brady give his game by game of the AFC.
Woo! Let's go.
And we're gonna rock the
It's not
AFC
game
hour
by
one,
game.
NFC hour two,
division by division. I can do this quick. All right. Do we have any intro music? Or we just
let's go. Yeah,
raw dog and just jumping right into
it. Raw dog it.
I mean, hey.
All right, let me start off in the AFC West with my number one overall seed. It's the home to the Chiefs. At 14-3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs not only winning the AFC West, but the number one overall seed, going 5-1 into the division. And I've got the Chargers going 10-7. They do make it into the 6th seed, though. A wild card seed nonetheless. 500 in the division, but the Chargers are the other team that makes in that division at 10-7. Broncos at 7-10. Raiders at 6-11. Both Broncos and Raiders had tougher schedules than I could recall, because I do think the Broncos could be a little bit better than that this year. However, that's what I've got for the AFC West. For the AFC North, a team that really pushed Kansas City for the number one overall spot, or the Cincinnati Bengals, 13-4. Yes, for all the D-bags out there that think I don't like the Bengals or I don't think this or that, no, they're a really good football team. I think they could win a Super Bowl, so hang on to the rest of the predictions. I've got them winning the AFC North at 13-4, beating out Baltimore at 12-5. Mind you, Pittsburgh Steelers, they go 9-7. They do not make the playoffs, which I don't feel good about that prediction. However, that's how it worked out. We do it once. You don't get to go back and make changes. Browns at 5-12, which I think hits their over in some books, but still not quite good enough. Moving on to the AFC East. Bills leading the way at 12-5. They have a much more difficult schedule than I'd realized. This number doesn't look good to me. I think they should be closer to 14-3. But I got them at 12-5. They still win the AFC East. And the Patriots at 10-7. They get the final wild card spot. Meanwhile, Dolphins at 7-10. Jets at 6-11. And finally, the AFC South. Only one team makes it from the playoffs from the AFC South. And it's the Jaguars via a tiebreaker. Liam Cohen in his first year, They win a tiebreaker over the Texans. The Texans go 10-7. The Jaguars go 10-7. However, it's the Jaguars that move on. They've got the Titans at 5-12 and the Colts at 4-13. That is my AFC picture.
How about that? All right, Lee, who's next?
All right, Jonas, give us your AFC picks.
All right, let's fire it off. All right, in the AFC East, I've got the Buffalo Bills winning the division. Stick around if you think they're going to make a run to the Super Bowl like Pete Prisco thinks, because, listen, that Hard Knocks curse is a real thing. They were featured. It might be a problem. I've got the Patriots finishing second in that division, followed by the Dolphins and the Jets bringing up the rear. That is your AFC East. Over in the North, this one I struggled with. I struggled with both Norths. In the AFC North, I've got the Bengals winning the division. I've got the Baltimore Ravens finishing second. And then I've got Pittsburgh finishing third, followed by the Cleveland Browns, who I think is not a stunner based on how that whole offseason has gone for them. Over in the AFC South, LaVar's favorite division, I've got the Houston Texans finishing one, followed by the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Titans. In the AFC West, the Bolts are back. The Chargers will be winning that division yet again. I'll spin the chamber one more time, see if I can get it right this year. But I've got the Chargers winning the AFC West, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Raiders. That'll be your AFC picks
Golly.
over there. Oh, what's wrong with my picks, LaVar?
Well, because a lot of them match mine, and I don't like agreeing with you.
You guys must have been in bed together.
What up?
Huh?
I mean, on these picks.
Damn.
You know,
Let's
we're
hear
all
it. Let's hear
dogging
it.
too.
Yeah, bring it home.
By the
LaVar.
way, I don't know how the hell I said Pittsburgh at, what did I say, 9-8, 10-7. I don't know. I was reading a different team's schedule. So, sorry about that.
right.
I texted Lee. I'm
Well,
not sure he's going to get it. But
That's why I'm
I
not
see.
even going to get into doing what you did. I'm going to go with what Jonas did. I'm not giving any records or anything like
I
that.
like
I'm
it.
just going to give
I like
who
it.
I felt is going
You do
to
it.
finish where they're going to finish. I'll start with the North. I do have Cincinnati atop of the AFC North. I do believe they will start quicker this year, and they'll be a much better team for longer this year. Just depends on the health of Joe Burrow, in my estimation. I got them 1, Baltimore 2, Pittsburgh rounding it out at 3, and yes, the Cleveland Browns kicking the can at 4 down the street. Wonder what that means for Stefanski and company. In the East of the AFC, yes, New England. I have New England at the bottom, all the way at the bottom, even though I love my man Mike Vrabel.
Can't wait.
I think they're going to be way down there.
Can't wait.
And, well, I think that the New York Jets won't be far off from them, but they will be able to see the New England Patriots easier than the number 1 team, which I'll get to in 1 second, but I guess you'll know because the runner-up are the Fins. Yeah, the Miami Dolphins, I got them at number 2, and that means that Buffalo is going to win the AFC East, and I think it will be by a long shot. So moving to the South, yes, I feel like this is the DQ, not the BQ prediction, but this is the disqualified predictions part of the conference or part of the division. I got the Texans winning it. I think they'll have – it's interesting. They had a good year last year. It just didn't feel like they had a good year. I don't know why, but they did finish in double digits of wins, and they did make it to the playoffs. I think they'll be better this year, so I got the Texans winning it. I don't know why I put the Jags at 2 because I feel like Tennessee or Indiana could possibly knock them off. I guess we could say they have more of what you would call stability at the quarterback's position. So I'll put them at 2nd. I got Tennessee, like I said, it could go either way between Tennessee and Indiana or the Jags, if I'm being honest, in my estimation. But I got Tennessee at 3, and I got Indy at 4. I think the indecision at quarterback, well, maybe not indecision, but I don't know. The quarterback situation in Indy, I don't trust it. So I feel like that might be a reason why they struggle. So I got them coming in at 4th. The West, I think KC is due for a down moment, not a down year. So for a down moment, I'll have them finishing behind the Chargers, which I think they're going to be on the rise. I just think Harbaugh-led teams, after they get a little bit of time in his scheme and in what he's got going on, he just doesn't miss. And I think that he's got what he needs. I think he's got the confidence of Herbert, and there's a nice supporting cast. They're going to run the ball down just shove it down people's throats, just force it down their throats, choking them out almost, so to speak, unless they don't have a gag reflex. But I digress. I think that the Chargers will be number 1, and KC will be number 2. I think Denver will be competitive. I really do. I think this will be a very, very competitive year for the West outside of the lonely number 4 Las Vegas Raiders. They won't be competitive, but I think the other 3 teams will be. Yeah, there you go. That's my AFC picks.
Nice.
Which division was the most difficult to pick in the AFC for you guys? Like, which would you say you struggled with?
If I'm being
North.
honest, I would say the AFC East, AFC South, because, it's hard to pick a lot of losses for teams because you're like, man, I just picked a loss the last 4 games for that team, But, there's a lot of things I look into, the buys, home game advantage. So a little, stats for you. Between the 1970s, roughly, or 1970 and 2010, home teams had up to 60% advantage. Like 60% of the time, the home teams won. Since 2019, it's been closer to like 52, 53%. So when I do these, obviously, I try to factor some of that in. If I'm like a little bit not sure what I'm thinking about this matchup or whatever the case may be, I'll just kind of lean on more of a home field advantage. But that's dwindled over the last 6 years, which is kind of interesting when you look at it.
I say the North, Jonas, and I say the North because
I'm with you.
I do not have an idea of what Pittsburgh can be. Pittsburgh could actually sneak up on people and be the one that ends up on top of the North.
Even though you've been against Rodgers like this entire
yeah,
offseason.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not blind to the fact that they could possibly be a competitive team more so than what I think. I just think there's too many question marks to make that type of commitment.
So here's why it was somewhat easy for me is I feel like Cincinnati and Baltimore are going to be playoff teams. So I know one of those two is going to win it. The way the schedule worked out happened to be Cincy the way I did it. And then I think Cleveland's going to be somewhere in the bottom. So yeah, I didn't know where Pittsburgh would end up. But at 10-7, I look at that and just say, okay, like that comes down to like their schedule, who they beat, who they didn't, which is interesting because like 10-7 is a good record. And if it does work out that way where they go 10-7, they don't make it, I'm not sure what you make of things. I'm not sure if Rodgers comes back for another year. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I kind of find that all interesting.
So I don't know who's going to be 1, 2, or 3. That I gave my prediction of what I think it will be. Yeah. I just don't know who will be 1, 2, and 3. It could be. It's such musical chairs. If you ask me,
I have no idea.
I also struggled. I'm not crazy about taking the Chargers with the Slater injury. They've got a running back who almost blew his face off at a fireworks show on 4th of July. Like, I'm not that seemed less than
can
ideal,
I give you a little bit of color there? Can I give you some optimism?
And I'm a big believer in the Super Bowl hangover. I know that the Chiefs, it doesn't apply to them or the Patriots over the past number of years, but I just wonder if age, some other factors
bro,
have started.
When Harbaugh is always at his best when there's some drama going on. Think about it.
That's right. He wasn't even there in Happy Valley last year, and they still.
He's always at his best when there's some drama.
2 years ago,
he uses that drama as super fuel. I'm just saying.
He's not wrong.
Plus, Justin Herbert
coming from LaVar would know. Like Penn State has not beaten Michigan in a while. It's been a while.
A long time.
Plus, you got Justin Herbert, walking around playing board games, drinking wine with that rocket ship, Madison beer. I don't know if that's still going on, but. Just feels like it's
you can't keep saying her name. It's only going to trigger Lee.
The whole name.
Immediately run to a liquor store.
Like the whole name.
Yeah.
Why you say the whole name like that?
What am I supposed to say, Madison?
Just the way you said it was a tad bit creepy, though. Like, I don't know.
Madison beer?
Nah, not the way you just said it.
Yeah.
When you said it when it was Justin Herbert's Madison beer or whatever her name is, you said it a little differently.
Hey, that's her name. I don't know what to tell you. I thought Petros had a fair breakdown of her, based
what was
on,
it? What was it?
She had a time where she was shopped in another aisle.
What was it? What was
My
it?
aisle?
She was not. She was with Lorraine.
That's correct, Lorena.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's pictures.
My aisle?
I don't really know
where I am.
All right, so we did the AFC last hour. We made our picks, our season preview and picks on the AFC. Now it's time for the NFC. So lead the lap. You have the honors.
All right, let's keep it
first?
Let's keep it rolling. Let's go the same order as last time. Brady, kick us off with some NFC picks.
A big surprise in my picks. Tampa gets the number 1 overall seed. They obviously win the NFC South 12-5. They go undefeated in the division. They got a good football team. I didn't think I'd have them this high, and I didn't think I'd had Philly losing as many games as I did. But here we are. Tampa wins it. Atlanta, they finished second at 10-7. They do get a wild card spot though. Carolina 5-12. The Saints at 3-14. Going to NFC East, I've got the Eagles winning it at 12-5. Again, that number probably could be a little bit higher, maybe 13, 14 wins, who knows, but that's how it worked out. Washington, they make it as a wild card team, finishing second in the division at 10-7. The Giants at 7-10. The Cowboys also at 7-10. In the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers, I've got them winning the division at 12-5. And then just behind them, the LA Rams, who qualify for a wild card spot at 10-7. Cardinals at 7-10. The Seattle Seahawks at 5-12. And finally, the NFC West. This one was a bit surprising for me too. Very competitive division, but I've got only one team making the playoffs. And that's the Green Bay Packers at 10-7. Yeah, that tough schedule for the NFC North this year, and looking at how it plays out. The Lions missed the playoffs at 9-8. They're missing the losses of Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and then the Vikings at 7-10. JJ McCarthy's first year starting. There comes some bumps along the way. And the Bears, even with the addition of Ben Johnson, still struggle a bit at 5-12. Just a tough schedule. So there you have it, the NFC, from my take at least.
Start with the NFC East. I think Philly's the pick to go with here in the NFC East. I've got Washington second, the Dallas Cowboys third, and the New York Giants fourth. I think the Giants are maybe a little better than people give them credit for, but that schedule is rough. And I think at some point, probably pretty early on, Jackson Dart's going to get his opportunity there because at that point, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are going to have to show them, hey, listen, maybe you want to continue on with the partnership between us and Jackson Dart moving into the future, but nonetheless, the Giants are a last-place team in the NFC East. Going over to the North, I've got the Green Bay Packers winning the division, followed by the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to take time for J.J. McCarthy to get acclimated there in Kevin O'Connell's system and in the NFL. I mean, the guy's basically a rookie. And then you've got the Detroit Lions. I see them taking a step back there, but I do like the addition of Micah Parsons, and I think the Green Bay Packers have an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl, but we'll get into that later on in the show. Over to the NFC South, I've got the Atlanta Falcons winning the division. I'm going to go with Atlanta winning the NFC South, followed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints, who at this point probably shouldn't even play this upcoming season based on how things look for them. In the NFC West, I've got the 49ers winning the division, a much easier schedule. I would have taken the LA Rams, but I'm not sold on Matthew Stafford. I think his back issue is going to be an issue the entire season, followed by the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks, who I think are going to really struggle. I think Seattle's going to be a bad football team. All apologies to Seahawks fans listening in the Pacific Northwest, but that concludes my look ahead and the right picks and the right side of how the NFC is going to look this upcoming season.
All
right, VAR, bring it home here with your picks for the NFC.
Yeah, let's go VAR.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the North. Minnesota will finish number one, even though I have question marks surrounding their quarterback. I think that the team around them is purely just pure talent. And I think that they're going to be the one that comes out of the North. I got Green Bay bringing up second. Detroit falls to third. Whew. And the Bears, they'll be fourth in the NFC North, which looks like a shakeup year, kind of, sort of. The NFC East, I got Philly winning it. I got Washington second. I guess this is what everybody said, except I have the Giants third, and I have Dallas bringing up the rear. They're can kickers of the NFC East. In the South, I have Tampa Bay winning it. I have Atlanta bringing up second. Carolina will edge out New Orleans for third, while New Orleans will finish fourth. In the West, I have Arizona winning the West. Why? I think by default, Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the division, yet he has question marks surrounding his back. So I'm not sure how that's going to all play out. If all things given, that's what plays out. There is a back injury that's having him play differently. I do think Kyler Murray is the next best quarterback in that division, and I believe if he's healthy, that's a pretty formidable team in Arizona. I think they'll take a step forward this year. So by default, I do not think San Francisco is going to be as good as people are predicting. I do not think Seattle is going to be good, and so I think it's a two-team race, and I think Arizona edges it out. So there you go.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, here's the question again. Division you struggled with the most. Mine was the South. I was either going to go Tampa or I was going to go Atlanta.
I didn't feel like I had a struggle in this one, to be honest. I felt like they're all pretty. I feel like they're pretty clear cut.
But I chose Atlanta. I sided with Atlanta because Prisco's been all about Tampa Bay this entire training camp tour / off season. And
they have an easy schedule, though, too.
But I want it so bad because I want him to come up with reasons why they're struggling and how it's not on him for making the pick.
We'll get there. Mine was the NFC North, which I guess I said the NFC West. And I don't know how you guys.
We wouldn't know because Lee doesn't move unless.
No, Lee's got it. Lee will play it. Lee
he doesn't have it. Does he have it?
He's got it. Yeah, he's working hard. Because think about it. I believe, VAR, you had what, Minnesota?
Yes.
I had Green Bay. Jonas, you had what, Green Bay?
Yeah.
But then who was your second place team?
The Bears.
Exactly. Which will not happen. But anyway,
the Bears.
It's kind of a toss-up. Everyone's got a different opinion on how that division's going to shake out. Because, VAR, who do you have as last? Did you have the Bears as well?
Bears. Yeah.
Okay. So VAR and I are more on the same page in this. I don't know how Detroit's going to take such a step back. I know they have a really hard schedule. That factored into this. I think a lot of Green Bay, which we'll get to at some point later on this show. And so 10-7 was a bit surprising to me because I thought I'd have them higher. So the NFC North to me was the toughest one to pick because I also don't think Minnesota's a 7-10 football team, even though that's how I picked it. And I wasn't really even factoring in J.J. McCarthy. I just think you tie in when their bye hits, the road games, etc. It's not an easy schedule. The NFC North in general, the division has a tough one this year.
Yeah. I don't know. I when I really kind of run it back through my head, I probably would say the one that could go the worst that I picked is the West, and that's because I think that's more of a. I want to say it's almost a 4-team race. I don't know that any horse is so much better than the other one in the West. So it could be any one of those teams that somehow, some way gets to the top of the NFC West. It just depends on what can happen. I mean, Calamari does go down with injuries. It does happen for him. And that team is tremendously impacted by it. If Matthew Stafford, as I mentioned, if he has that back doesn't go away, which by the sound of it, it's going to be there. So there's the chance they might not be as good. There's the chance San Francisco is only good because those two stink. But then there's the opportunity for San Francisco to not be that good. I really do not think San Fran is going to be that good. And I definitely don't think Seattle, where they're at right now, and the choices that they've made at quarterback, I just don't see that playing out well for them. I feel like the most confident I am in those teams in the West is Seattle. I believe Seattle will finish last, but they might not. So I don't know.
All right, so throughout the course of the show, we've been dropping our season preview, our picks on the NFL season. It is time to conclude with the playoffs, with the Super Bowl. It's the big grand finale here. Lee DeLapp, you take it away. Quarterback us through this. Who goes first?
Well, I'll quarterback us through it, but let's let the quarterback start it off. Brady, who do you got in your playoff scenario?
So, as I've talked about before, Tampa Bay from the NFC, they get the bye. On the AFC side, it's Kansas City. So playing off in the wild card round, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Baltimore Ravens. I've got the Ravens winning that one. Then I've got the Buffalo Bills hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. The Bills hold home field advantage. They advance. And the Bengals beating the New England Patriots, the 7th seed, to advance on the AFC side. In the NFC, it's a home team sweep. The Green Bay Packers, they take down the LA Rams. The 49ers take down the Atlanta Falcons. And the Eagles take down the Washington Commandos. Moving on to the divisional round. I assume I can go all the way through?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the AFC, we've got the Bengals advancing to take on the Buffalo Bills. And I have the Bengals advancing to the AFC Championship game, knocking off Albert Breer's Buffalo Bills that he's got, I believe, winning it all. And then on the other side, I've got Kansas City beating the Baltimore Ravens. They get the bye. They're at home. We all know the track record of Andy Reid and the Chiefs, as well as their record versus the Baltimore Ravens. So unfortunately for the Ravens, not able to do it this year. On the NFC side, the Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers. I've got the Eagles being able to hold the home field advantage, winning as the number 2 seed. And then the Tampa Bay Bucks coming off that bye, hosting the Green Bay Packers. the Battle of the Bays. But it's the Green Bay Packers who will find their way through to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Championship weekend, the number 1 seeded Chiefs hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. And I've got the Chiefs advancing. The Bengals just can't get over the top, but a matchup that I think we'd all love to see. I know I would love to see. And then on the NFC side, the Eagles hosting the Green Bay Packers. All the weight and the pressure of everything trying to get back to the Super Bowl and repeat. But it's the Packers, led by Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, finding their way to the Super Bowl. A matchup for the ages. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Green Bay Packers in Santa Clara. Woo! But we've got the Chiefs getting back on top of the NFL. No. And mind you, doing so with Taylor Swift performing at halftime.
Yeah.
It comes full circle. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up.
You just did.
Wins.
The Chiefs. Jeez. Taylor Swift. Back on top of the NFL. It's written.
My God.
Manifested, if you will. It's all going to come together.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that?
We're really going to do this.
Hey,
provocative.
by the way, I think that's, and that was Super Bowl 1, and this is Super Bowl 60 coming up. So on the 60th anniversary, a repeat of the first Super Bowl. Damn, yeah. That's impressive. Very impressive.
All right, Jonas, how about you take it off? What's your playoff scenario?
All right, so that was almost as impressive as this. Here are my AFC playoff teams. I've got the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East. I've got the Bengals in the North, the Texans in the South, and yes, I have the LA Chargers, the Bolts, winning the AFC West. My wild card teams out of the AFC are the Ravens, Steelers, and Chiefs. But I've got Baltimore making a run as a wild card team, finally getting over the hump and getting into the Super Bowl. Over on the NFC, who will they play? They've got the Eagles winning the East. They've got the Packers, the Falcons, and 49ers as division winners. Your playoff teams elsewhere as the wild card spots are the Commanders, the Buccaneers, and the Chicago Bears. But only one can advance from the NFC to take on the Ravens, and that one is Lee DeLapp's Green Bay Packers, who go to Santa Clara to take on the Baltimore Ravens, and the winner is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who win the Super Bowl 60. If you look at the logo, you see some purple. You see some yellow and a little bit of green there. As Lee likes to point out, the logo of the Super Bowl is a predictor of certain Super Bowls, but I've got Baltimore winning it all coming up in Santa Clara in February.
All right, 2 Packers making it to the Super Bowl in both Brady and Jonas's brackets. How about you, VAR? Who do you got in the playoffs?
I hate when Jonas says the same things as me, but I'll still say it. I mean, I feel like I want to change it because Jonas doesn't get anything correct, but maybe he gets it done here. I don't know. But I got Cincinnati in the AFC, Buffalo, Houston, and the Chargers as divisional or conference division champions, excuse me. And I have Baltimore, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh as wild card teams. I believe out of that, Buffalo will end up playing Baltimore, and Baltimore will win to make it to the Super Bowl. On the NFC side, I have Philly, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and Arizona winning their divisions, and I see Green Bay, Washington, and the Rams being the wild card teams. Now, the teams that will emerge from there will be Philly, and I do believe Green Bay. But I believe that Philadelphia finds a way to win.
Yeah.
And they advance to the Super Bowl, and you have a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl. And I have Baltimore actually winning the Super Bowl.
Bar.
Sticks Picks.
I like it.
Bar.
I like it, man. I think we had a nice little display of like all the teams that could be in it. No one picked Cincinnati to be in the Super Bowl, right?
No.
I don't know, man. As I was going through this, it feels like it could be their year. Like bringing everything back, the way they approach the preseason. I don't know. Something feels like this could be Cincy's year.
I was either going to go Baltimore or Cincy, and I was either going to go the Rams or the Packers in the NFC. But Matthew Stafford.
The Stafford back thing concerns me so much. I'm not sure what to make of San Fran because the roster's still there. Just will Christian McCaffrey be able to get back to his old ways? It's hard for me to pick against Philly, honestly. Like, it really is, because I think Philly is so good, but I didn't want to be too chalky with it. And so I kind of threw Green Bay in there. But the Chiefs, obviously, I think every single year we get tired of looking at how dominant they are, how good they are. And then once we see them play, we're like, oh, yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, all these other stud players.
You know what I realized? You know what I realized in going through the picks last night? I was like, in this entire Chiefs dynasty, never one time have I picked them to win the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl. I am.
Yeah. Well,
awful.
You're an underdog type guy. You know, you don't like.
That's right.
You don't like ever, picking a team that's a favorite. You know,
the common man.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. The common man. You are far from common. All Dracula.
Damn.
Yeah, that is true.